Right, this is a real thing.
No, it's a mirage, lady. Odds and strange endings. Odds and endings. This is one of those videos I like putting together where it's just a bunch of short conversations that, singularly they're interesting and collectively they're still interesting. But starts out with a young man living out of his van because he lives in California. He's living out of his van because he can't afford the apartments. So there's a lot of people doing that. Now they're trying to ban that. Then we have a computer engineer. We get into talking about the AI and robotic technology. We got a liberal financer that's coming up. A psych professor, young lady. And we got a woman that works in a pharmacy, and she has to say which he sees. Gentleman from Philly and his wife, and then we have a young man that's in marketing. It's a local guy who's kind of enamored with what I'm doing out there in my own little marketing world. And lastly, we have a real odd ending. So, I hope you like all this this nice little eclectic video. If you do, hit the like button. If you can contribute. Of course, share these so we can combat the censorship. And I will see you on the other side of this. So enjoy. And the stories I hear about the city now are horrible.
It's bad. Yeah. It's insane. I mean, from poverty to the dirtiness of it, to like traffic, to the cost. Like, it's wild.
Really? I know.
I think you gotta pay $10 to get across the Golden Gate Bridge now, or something stupid like
Holy
that. Maybe even
crap.
12 or something like that. It's pretty ridiculous.
Holy crap.
Isn't that ridiculous? Yeah.
Are you going to remain out there? Or
it's hard, because it's so expensive, and if you actually want to be a homeowner, like, you'd have to, say, live in the center of the state, which is pointless if you're going to live in California, live in the center, so might as well go in the center of the country somewhere.
They're really challenging you to live there.
It's hard, man.
I know.
That's part of the reason why we took up the van, to saved all the money.
And then I saw in the paper yesterday, news, someone's proposing legislation to make it illegal to do what you're doing.
Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm. It's because so many people doing it because they can't afford housing there. And it's like, it's crazy. I mean, would you rather have more people on the streets, or people like confined to the van so at least trash isn't everywhere?
Yeah. Plus, it's a lifestyle. People, exactly. I know people that were traveling for years now.
Yeah.
Just, living out of their, their makeshift van, houses that they put on the back, and it's a lifestyle. Yeah. I just finished this book right here, and it scared the hell out of me.
AI, Trump, China, and weaponization of robotics with 5G. Terminator's coming to life.
Yeah.
Oh, believe me.
Oh, yeah.
It's already here. Matter of fact, just the other day, was it yesterday, the day before, I read where Turkey now has drones with 50 caliber machine guns on them.
Wow.
Wow.
That's crazy. Holy crap.
Yeah, if you look there, you see some of the crap they're coming up with. I mean, and what really got me is the fact that with the 5G coming out, you know how Wi-Fi connects to our machines?
Yeah.
Well, the 5G is going to bypass that and go directly into us.
If they chip us, they don't have to chip us.
They're homing in on our human genome and our frequency, because we are transmitters and we're receivers.
Yeah.
And then they'll be able to start influencing our thoughts.
I have I work with a guy. I'm sure you've heard QAnon.
Oh, sure. Of course. Yeah.
but he keeps basically he's my boss, and he keeps up with all this. I'm not really big in politics. I mean, I listen to him, and I'll read a little bit, but I don't get real big in politics. But he says, one, he's not going. Trump's going to win the 2020 election. There's no doubt about that. But he also says that once that happens, that all these people that are pushing for him, the only thing they've been doing, it's all a big smoke show because they're afraid to go to jail, because this is exactly what they're going to do once he gets reelected. He's going to unleash everything, and all these people are going to jail.
Well, let's hope. But there's an old Spanish proverb: the spider web catches the fly, but never the hawk.
True. That is true. That is very true.
And I haven't seen one single deep stater yet go to jail or be indicted. But we've seen Roger Stone get his door kicked in. We've seen Manafort and Flynn go to jail. So I know we haven't seen them even pardoned. So, why hasn't he pardoned Assange? Why isn't he out? I mean, I don't see us on the offensive at all. So I'm not so sure QAnon isn't just a carrot on a stick. I want to see something happen and show me.
A lot of people do.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
And if it doesn't happen, then I'm thinking, well, will we have enough patriots in this country to do what will need to be done next?
Actually, Civil War, basically?
Well, they didn't make the Second Amendment the second for nothing.
I agree. There was his brother was a captain or lieutenant. Yeah, LT. He retired lieutenant colonel from the Army. Mm-hmm. He lives in Virginia. You know what just happened in Virginia, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Jeff was talking to Kent, and Kent told him, he said, I think there are like 95 counties. 81 of the 95 counties said, we are not going to enforce that law. And one sheriff said to the county, I will deputize every person in the county so they can carry.
Yeah. There was a guy that one of the reps from Virginia yesterday that said, we'll call out the National Guard to enforce these things. I'd like to know where he thinks the National Guard comes from.
Thank you. They have to back the United States Constitution, not your state Constitution. I mean, come on, people. How bright are these individuals? I'm wondering that. I'm wondering.
Not very bright.
Apparently not.
And that goes back to that book. I think they're like being cooked. This is a get out of jail free card from Hillary Clinton.
You can keep it.
Check it out. It's got my YouTube channel in the back. You get to see some of the encounters out here. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you.
I'm an investment analyst. I'm well deep into the financial markets, so it's like I think there's a lot of it that gets oversimplified and slanted to folks. Wherein like everyone bitches about bailouts, but I'm like, do you understand what would happen if it didn't happen? It's catastrophic. So, and the fact is, the government came out net positive on it. So, like the question to me about bailouts, the only question is whether or not you believe the government should be investing as a sovereign wealth fund, not whether or not we should have, because we absolutely should have. We made money. But like net of it all, there's zero debate about that. But if you don't believe that we should have a Fed or things like that, totally different discussion. So I'm always curious about like that standpoint on things about whether the Wall Street bailout should have happened and where the influences are. But
who should have been bailed out too shows another aspect.
Financial market, you have to. The insurance companies, because they're long duration liabilities, so they could have dealt with those kind of volatilities.
A lot of people would argue, but why reward the crooks? Why reward the people that want to hit?
Because the other side of it, if you didn't, that's where Main Street would have taken in the ass in ways they couldn't possibly imagine. That's the problem. It's like everyone's like, oh, you're giving money to billionaires. Yes, absolutely. But had you not, the other side of it is so much worse.
Wouldn't there is, or shouldn't there, or isn't there going to be a correction eventually?
No,
anyway?
not with that. This is seriously with the bailout. Honestly, was like they shouldn't have cut themselves, but the bailout was staunching the wound.
And I just read the other day that there was 150 billion now they're pumping
Well, so that one's interesting, right? So the other thing, so I'm not a credit guy, so I can't say. The thing that terrifies me is that there's no news on this crap.
Yeah,
It's like the amount of liquidity that's pumped in currently is terrifying, and it's super quiet because it's not directly interest rate movements. It's in repo markets and the overnight lending markets where like we don't hear the news about it, and even like me as an investment analyst, it's not my asset class, so I barely have to track this shit down. So those are the ones, and that's what killed us in the Great Recession was the credit market. So seeing this happen again now, it's it's scary times. It's already where it's like seeing liquidity going to overnight lending, so domestic U.S. banks can meet credit funding mandates, asset mandates, is terrifying. Like, because it was like $75 billion that went in overnight, and like nowhere in the news.
Yeah, I know. Sort of like
that was the first time where I was like, it's like, I'll fully admit, I'm like, I lean liberal, but I work in finance, and that's when like that was the first one I'm like, that's terrifying. Like I'm a pure economist, profit maximizing, kind of dude, and like that one was what got me. I'll say that. So
you lean liberal?
Yeah, absolutely. I lean liberal and profit maximize at the same time. I recognize that like me knowing what I earn, that like my life doesn't move. Oh, we can?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I have to check my flight. That's like more important than anything else I can do right now, unfortunately. But I'm glad folks are out here, and I think like irrespective of positions, I'm just glad people are getting people to polls and creating political involvement.
Yeah, so, indeed.
Irrespective of like where you and I may agree or disagree, I'm just glad that you're out and like getting folks to think.
Thank you. Well, that's because you see, I need to get your side of the story without shouting at one another. I mean, obviously you've got something. Thank you.
Right.
So obviously you've got something to say.
I'm sure I can.
I can only learn off of people who know more than me. So
wise words.
Do you think that a woman shouldn't be president?
I think a woman would be fine to be a president if she's qualified.
I just meant because of the sign over her genitalia.
Yeah, I put that on there because, I used to have, as a joke, because, it's all trying to make light of this idiocy, right? So I used to have grab here on there.
Oh.
So, but the liberals would come along and say, you're trying to promote sexual violence. I said, I'm just trying to get a laugh. So I says, okay, let me put don't grab here on there.
I see.
And they still get upset.
I thought it meant like nobody with a vagina should be president.
No, it just meant don't grab here. Be respectful of it,
That makes sense. All right.
Don't, unless they want to be grabbed, then it's okay.
Sure.
Otherwise, it's not.
Well, thank you so much for letting me know.
Sure. Where are you from?
Minnesota.
Minnesota?
Yeah.
What do you do there?
Huh?
And what do you do there?
I'm a psychology professor.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How long have you been practicing? You seem rather well. Everybody seems young to me. So
yeah. So I got my PhD 2 years ago, but I've been teaching full time for 3 years. I'm 29.
So you're teaching it?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. It is fun.
Where are you teaching?
At a community college in Duluth, Minnesota. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's like basically up by Canada.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great. So colleges, of course, are coming under a lot of scrutiny and what,
a lot of stress because not as many people are having children.
Yeah.
And we expect that in the next 7 years, very few 18-year-olds are going to be going to school. So mostly small liberal arts schools are closing because their tuition is so high. But since I'm at a community/technical school, and the technical degrees kind of carry us through because no matter what, for like mechanics, airplane flying, all of that stuff they need.
Well, a lot of people make the argument that, we could use more people in the trades.
Yeah, exactly. And we do that type of training, so.
That's good. Now I've talked to other psychologists who have told me that Trump derangement syndrome is now actually a clinical term. Oh.
It's not. It wouldn't be because it's not in the DSM, which is the Diagnostic and Statistic Manual, which came out in 2013. So it may be something that they're working on in terms of the next, but it wouldn't be a technical diagnostic criteria.
Is it something you run into though?
No, I haven't. So I don't know who told you that, but.
Yeah, well, people that are in your, psychologists, other psychologists, and what they said, that they're running into people that just seem to be going off the rails with this, this hate?
I mean, that's more of like a social psychological perspective of group polarization, which we've known on forever. Like, people tend to polarize on each side of the spectrum. But I think I lost my family, so I have to go find them. But thank you for chatting.
All right, God bless.
Preacher choir.
Yeah.
All the liberals are north of us.
I mean, seriously, the pharmaceutical industry seems to be...
People rolling through in their Mercedes.
Yeah, I mean, they're
BMWs.
legalized drug dealers.
And then
is basically
hand me their medical card because they have no money, but they're driving a BMW all day long. Not shitting you. Jags.
This is so right.
Medicaid.
Amy,
Pisses me off.
this is so right.
Not just a little bit of fraud,
No. Talk about working the system.
I'm telling you.
I mean, the polls had Donald Trump down so far. He drove around Pennsylvania, and there were Donald Trump signs all over the place. And when he went to rallies, I mean, he was getting thousands and thousands. So I said to her, I don't care what the polls say.
Yeah.
That tells me more than anything else. And
Who are you going to believe, your own eyes or the lying polls?
well, people say to me, oh, Donald Trump's an asshole. I said, well, so is the guy who works on my furnace, but he does good work, and I can count on him. And I said, you know what? I'll take that guy any day.
What gets me pissed off are the younger people who feel like they hold grudges now. Like, my daughter lost so many friends in school because she refused to say that she supported Hillary 4 years ago or whatever that was. Like, she wouldn't say it. And they're like, well, you're a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's what it takes to build in a friendship. Okay.
Who said that?
She lost the one
Oh,
girl.
my daughter, Rachel.
Not yeah. She the one kid that she went all the way through college with, his girlfriend made him stop associating with Rachel altogether.
You know what? But I'll tell you one thing. The one thing that Donald Trump gave to the Republican Party as a gift is he showed other Republican legislators that you don't have to sit there and take all the shit from the Democrats. You can push back, you know. And I know Donald Trump says things that are over the top and does it just to get them going.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's about time we had a Republican that did sit there and take all their shit.
Thank you. And the way he's pointing out the lies of the media, I think that's stellar because, I mean, the media is nothing. They never tell us the truth. I mean, half-truths at best. Half-truths at best. But mostly they lie to us through omission. It's the things they don't tell us. And, I think people have an innate sense of knowing when they're being lied to. Like you brought up, you could see with your own eyes what was going on.
I tried to explain to some of my friends, I said, you know what, the reason why Donald Trump is president now is because too many Republicans in this country got tired of their Republican legislators just not, we need the House first, then we need the Senate, and then we need the presidency. No, you don't. I said, you just need to listen to the will of the people and do what you got sent there for in the first place. And they weren't doing that. And along comes Donald Trump, and the Republicans said, you know what? This guy's he's gonna represent us, not DC. And he's done exactly that.
And it's working. I mean,
you think Reagan clocked Mondale? You wait till this next election.
Oh yeah, man, it's gonna. Yeah. I mean, look, the guy has thousands of people waiting hours on end in freezing rain just to get in to see him.
Oh, I know. He was just in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Yes, and they waited for hours in the freezing rain to get in.
I saw, and some of my friends went, and they took photographs of how many people were there. And I'm like, man, and when he was there during the election, and I was there at the stadium at 12 o'clock, he wasn't coming on till 7, and the parking lot was already full of people. And that was 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
And Biden can't fill up a classroom.
Yeah, really. Yeah, exactly.
All right, God bless.
Yeah.
Because the streets are the ultimate battleground. I mean, and it's just raw, so it's not like there's any fluff here.
Yeah.
So,
this is the real deal. There's no show. Well, you had any interesting interactions this weekend?
There isn't a day it goes by I don't have a good conversation out here.
Yeah. The cool thing is, I mean, at least it's you're having fun with it. It's kind of a it's an interesting way to approach a serious subject. You know what I mean? But you know, so people can take it however they want. But at the end of the day, you know, you're just having fun with it. There's nothing wrong with that. More people should do that. I need to get a camera out here and record some of this stuff. That'd be great.
Yeah, do that.
People need to, yeah,
do that because it's a ball.
Keep up the good work, Mike.
Well, thank you, David. It's a pleasure. Yeah, please do. Stop by.
I'll stop by. It'll be fun. Yeah. All right. Have a good one.
So.
Thank you.
Go out here. Oh, that's another great argument. Fuck me, walk away. That's your mentality. That's your liberal mentality, pal. That's your liberal mentality.
Who said I was liberal? Why am I a Republican? Why are you stinging?
Well, you certainly sound like one.
No, I'm a Republican. So who the fuck cares about what Trump all these done? You like Russia? You like Russia controlling the company?
You absolutely still believe that bullshit.
You don't believe
Mueller didn't find a damn thing.
Please. Have you read it?
Yeah.
I read it too.
It's my job, pal.
I
didn't see any charges. Did you see any charges?
Well, no, because you have a fucking person on the Mitch McConnell and shit like that. I'm not going to sit here and argue with it because you're a fucking idiot.
Oh, you see, there you go. That's another great argument. Just did so. Walk away,
me what
pal.
he's done for the country.
Well, we can start with the tax cuts.
Well, that's rich. My friend makes $1 gajillion. He made off like a bandit here. He didn't ask for it. What do poor people make? What do they get out of it?
The people I've spoken to, teachers. When you let me answer, you're going to run your fat mouth.
Hit me. Come on, hit me. I'll take you to jail.
I don't have to hit you, you idiot. You destroy yourself.
I'm not sitting here with a crazy thing, a Trump thing. It's like, are you Russian? Russian payers?
Oh, yeah, Russian. You're a moron, pal. A moron. Fat and stupid's not a way to go through life. Fat and stupid is not a way to go through life.
You enjoy yourself.
Where's the kid guard?
Is this for real? Like, this is a real thing.
No, it's a mirage, lady. How about that last guy, huh? I mean, talk about a liberal and conservative clothing. What a wipe. Still policing that Russia gets. I'm being paid by Russia. I'm not getting paid by Russia, guys. I have to go off the contribution, so if you can, please do. All right, thanks for coming by. Remember to pray for me out there in the streets. I need it, and I'll be praying for you over here on this end. God bless you. I'll see you on the streets.